These are the best highlights from today's 2024 LCK Summer Split matchup.
And they also stave off the pressure in the lane, so we'll finally be able to get that back as Envy.
Yeah, Henna could be in trouble. That's the flash forward from Envy. He's going to need to land some of these Qs. Arcane Shift. Oh, it's just the Mystic Shot, and he's going to be fine.
That was clean.
Yeah,
Envy
knows that there's no flash.
We're getting a pick.
Yep.
And it's the fastest way to clarify your team. You were successful.
And that as well as the fact that it comes up on their screen, that the kill does come in as well. As we've got a bit of a headbutt out from Raptor. He's not allowed to be around here. The bro's going to be able to just guarantee control of these grubs. And man, Wolf, this is like such a bro early game.
This is actually going to be a pretty big win here for BNK. And despite that early kill for Envy, the CS difference has actually been shored up. Remember the top lane, we saw a lot of health trades that were going in favor of Morgan, but he fell behind in CS. Looks like he might even end up losing a plate here, does not have teleport, so...
There a little bit. Still just trying to hold on. This is a huge pressure point. As now Henna is just going to try and return the favor. Envy's in so much trouble, throws an ultimate the wrong direction, and Henna just kills him. All right. Why Envy has a fair bit of confidence there after just killing Henna 1v1. Still, can't be making mistakes like that. Because I think that if there's ever a champion that's going to punish you for making an error, and then you just lose the game because of it, it's to find another electrocution, lands the chains there as well, and now Raptor, I mean, this could just be cease and desist, and yeah, you're not getting out of that one. It's going to take a while, and the dash forward, that is going to be that, and Raptor locks up the kill.
Just yet, as they're going to try to make a cross map happen here top side, but Duro is here with his ultimate and flash.
Yep, there's a Gnar into the wall as well. Wallop isn't going to find the mark as there's the headbutt pulled onto the Gnar. Magnet Storm comes in. Not sure whether Duro is going to be able to find anything back here, and Polo capable of just...
Back, and with Duro coming up there, it looks like maybe that was actually not even going to happen, but they were swift with the punish there. They did come over and make that happen. They also are able to get Duro's ult and flash of a gold injection.
Yep. Poza also has a little bit of a bad guy injection. Going to have to flash the combo here of Polo. He does get electrocuted, but he should be fine. Raptor going to be taking the Rift Herald. And now Clear with some more spare time on this top outer turret. First turret blood, a little bit of a race here as now the dash in from Henna once again. I've seen this one before. Not going to be diving the turret. No flash out from Envy this time, but with the Herald coming down, this could actually just be the outer turret taken. And they also get first turret with Clear on the top side of the map. Really good map play here from BNK, continuing on from the advantages that they got in the previous series.
BNK, which is so valuable when you have a LeBlanc, because now LeBlanc can start threatening your jungler when he's trying to farm, can start getting in there and setting up deep wards with impunity when they have this relatively fed LeBlanc on the other side, and she's going to pick up now the third turret here for BNK. And it is just looking fantastic for them right now.
Yeah, the outer ring just immediately eliminated. Did well up there from Clear to stun up Morgan, but he's got a bunch of friends coming on over.
Doesn't have TP, so if there is a bit of a scuffle, he can come over as Clear. He's looking for the punish.
Yep, he's going to be able to dive on top of Fate here, unbinds his soul. That was a weird situation, but Fate is going to get the poor end of it. Still able to get on over. Envy takes a house to the head. Let's see whether this crush can come through, but no, it can't because there's a combo and everyone collapses. The bros don't go anywhere by themselves.
But at least it gives Bro a cross map, so to speak, in terms of this dragon, because it is just going to be taken without a contest, which I don't think Bro could have contested either way, but at least they get something in return. And now they're going to try to collapse on Closer.
Yeah, more cross maps coming in here. Polo just continuing its onslaught, but there's a distortion. So Clear is just a little bit frustrating to deal with. Polo can't tank up the turret for much longer, but still, tower going to be taken, dragon going to be the trade. And Closer looking like he's basically impossible to kill. Gonna back away. Raptor is pretty scary, to be honest. Building towards his Black Cleaver that should be coming in relatively soon.
Yeah, it's got to be almost done. It doesn't look like he's going to have it for the dragon. However, Morgan spotted on the flank.
Yeah, Clear actually spots him, but maybe he isn't too psyched about it, as Morgan pretty strong right now on this Jax. Finding those combos as Envy, oh dear, the chain needs to be arcane shifted out of, is going to be successful there, as somehow Henna is actually locked down by a grasping roots. But now Envy's out of this fight, and Closer is still hunting for him. Envy now trying to come back. Duro is going to soak a lot of damage here. Will be taken down first in this one. As Fate snapping back, Morgan going to be gnawed into the wall. And Envy actually dashes in. I'm not sure about that one. It's a double kill for Henna. He's finally taken down, as now Closer will be able to execute Fate. It's messy, but I think it's a B&K win in the end with 2 men still standing.
There at the end, but did a ton of damage despite getting chunked down. This is a much closer fight than it should have been. And ultimately, B&K will secure this dragon, but it was a very close fight. And if Bro end up winning that a little bit cleaner, maybe that's the comeback angle instantly. So they know at least they don't have to worry about that at the moment. But this is where things get scary when the map gets dark.
Oh, there is a Mega Cone as Envy gonna have to Arcane Shift. Let's see whether Clear can find the Mega Gnar. Not quite able to do so, but he just jumps on top of him like Mario. Doesn't find the Gnar, but it doesn't matter. Raptor gets his health back, and Polo is just getting thrown around like a rag cow. And into the back line goes Closer, gonna find the execute on the Zyra, and this fight, the last one was close. This one, absolutely not. B&K just roll over the top.
Closer wasn't even there for most of that.
Yeah.
Showed up in the end. It's like, oh, you guys killed the Ezreal. I guess I'll come in here. That was what I wanted to kill the Ezreal, but I guess you guys all committed to doing that with the weird blast cone play, and that's just the end of this.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's just the game.
I think so. I mean, Ezreal up in 10. No ult for Young Jay because he used it to try to peel for Envy. A disastrous fight for Bro.
Yeah, and Fate. Yeah, he's not getting out of this one. He has to snap back. There is a big pulverize. Raptor gonna get taken down, but there are no Nexus turrets. And Clear will be able to do enough damage to this turret. And Closer going to help out there, and that is going to be B&K taking game number 1.
Even with a Maokai here to get your Rumble to equalize people, I feel like the Leona would have been much better for that. They still have the Maokai ultimate, so, you know, back timings of the bottom lane, you know that they're not going to be able to do Dragon, so a bit of a scuffle being set up here for Bro.
Yeah, Raptor moving on in though. This control ward goes down, spots them out, will be destroyed immediately, but did get a fair bit of value there, as we can see, is now good knock-up going to connect, and there's the grand entrance as well, the smallest rocket jump in the history of rocket jumps from Fate, but it is actually going to work out here as now Closer could be in trouble. There's the flash twisted advance. He's punched back as well. The exhaust decent onto Closer at the same time as Raptor. He did not want to go there as he tries to get out, and he manages. Okay, I think he's still very dead, but still. Okay, there's the auto attack, and Fate going to pick up first blood.
And unfortunately for B&K, it was kind of way too aggressive, constantly trying to force Closer's engage and trying to get that pick onto Fate for that grub fight, backfiring and doing it again here.
Yeah, Dura gonna come on over and steals the grub. Okay, so Young Jay does manage to pick up the first one. But now this one is going to be taken by Clear. So B&K on track to picking up a bunch of those, and I think sticking around and making sure you get the extra grubs when you have a Tristana, I think would be pretty good. Yeah. There's a very high level of intensity though.
Yeah, no, it's very intense. Clear showed top side, of course, neither top laner have teleport, so it's just going to be Clear pushing this one in. Morgan will catch it. And Morgan did rotate down briefly, and then was like, okay, we're not fighting, and then went back to lane. As there's a lot of attention to this dragon, but it is taken very late.
Yeah,
here by B&K, but Bro ultimately had to give it up, even though Fate was taking some favorable health trades. The spacers will be also like clapping and singing along and swaying back and forth, and Ox will be all giddy and stuff. But
yeah, Ox can do the sit there and feel uncomfortable thing where you're not allowed to sing your own birthday song. As we've got some grubs going down. First one going to be cleared here by B&K as Fate's teleported in. There's a Glacial Prison onto Polo. Gets the Unbreakable Will out, but it's not exactly the priority target that you really want to be engaging on. Still, that is going to be another couple of grubs going over to B&K. That is 5-1 in the grub count. And look at this, they're already getting to work.
He preset the value as here comes a clear flank.
Oh dear, okay, Envy does have the Featherstorm available. As, just gets that cooldown out. Trades for his own.
And then maybe get something out of it, but either way, it will stop the plates from going down.
Yep, and Closer knows that there are a whole lot of people heading towards... okay, there's a Nature's Grasp as well. As the Equalizer comes down, Closer not really going to be able to do much about this, but still able to trade back very nicely. Morgan actually picking up the turret aggro as well is not what you want. And now that Permafrost is stacking up. The Grand Entrance with the quickness is going to guarantee the kill. So a 2-for-1 trade.
Fate does not have teleport, nor does Closer, so the mid laner's not going to be involved in this fight. Pretty negligible poke here for Henna as well. I think B&K should reconsider. They need a flash engage from Clear. Otherwise, I just don't see this going their way. He's got the angle. He's hidden.
Yeah, we'll see whether this Slicing Maelstrom can actually work. The Nature's Grasp comes in and clear. He's rushing into that back line, looking for the angle. There goes Polu as Duro trying to find the quickness onto as many members as possible. Equalizer is decent, but there's the knock-up onto Envy. Another very defensive Featherstorm has to be used, but this time we'll keep him alive successfully.
B&K, but they were able to secure the Rift Herald, and that's going to be pretty good news because that mid turret is sitting on probably about exactly 3 health, and will be going down very soon.
Yeah.
But they secure the Herald, so maybe they can get some additional control of the map.
Oh,
okay,
so it's 1, 2, 3.
Wait, hold on, we have a dive.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Then after the dive.
Happy. And no one's actually here. We're not ready. It's dive time as Clear is going to get Slicing Maelstrom off. And Polu going to be able to tank this one up successfully. So that is Barbecued Pikachu in the top lane. Very nicely done here by the bros. They will sack their bottom outer turret for it. And it's also first turret blood going over to B&K. So it's not the greatest of trades.
Do end up seeing Chemtech Soul, so the value of these 2 Drakes for B&K, not that great, but this is that Herald I was talking about. Let's see if they can grab the turret. I mean, they are better grouped for this. I think they should be able to secure this. It's pretty huge.
Yeah, Dura not actually able to make the rotation over, as we could see.
Rumble Ultimate, look for a frontline pick, and, you know, otherwise just watch your flanks for Clear.
Yeah.
I think that this is much more optimistic than it was in Game 1.
Well, Fate, I'm not sure about him, as he is going to pick up a prison, take it with him, and he is really dead. Henna with his Killer Instinct is really absolutely named correctly this time around. He's actually been very aggressive this game.
Coming back up, he's looking for the long con flank here. They have a ward in the brush, so pretty confident that he's not going to be seen here. This should be respected by Bro, though.
Yeah, Morgan moving in. There's the engage. It's onto a Sejuani, so it's not exactly the greatest. And, oh, somehow Morgan gets caught by the Glacial Prison. Still, the answering Nature's Grasp is very, very strong. The Acathian Rain not doing too much here to Polu, but that is some big buttons now on cooldown as the Drake has been started up. Henna, full health, does have Killer Instinct up and available. Dura by his side as well, that Gleaming Quill keeping him healthy. He does continue to land those as in goes Closer, finds a bit of an engage on Polu, not exactly the priority target once again, as there's the quickness into the backline. The engage is so good, Closer just gets rid of the Tristana and the Slicing Maelstrom to answer as well. And Bro just find themselves with gray screens, no option at all. Raptor's going to be surviving. And there's Clear to finish off the last kill with a lightning rush of all things. That's a clean ace.
Clean ace here, relatively early in the game, and down goes the turret.
Oh, the stiff breeze.
Kill the whole team and then get one Yone out of it. And that's what you got to do to get that turret down. No nail in the coffin here for a composition that is so shaky.
Yeah, and apparently this coffin only needs like 2 nails because we really didn't have much preamble for getting to this point, right? It's now a 5,000 gold lead. We have like Chemtech Soul point. I mean, you mentioned already Chemtech Soul, not exactly the most valuable, but getting 4 dragons is always pretty good as Duro is going to get engaged on, thrown around like a ragdoll, but he's Rakan, so he's going to be fine. Nature's Grasp, not really doing too much. Battle Dance for Duro to make sure that he gets out of there. Young Jay not so lucky. And B&K now managing to get a kill onto, like you mentioned, the one that's in charge of Peel. And so I think they should be able to break open the base very comfortably. Already Closer's getting to work on it. He dives in on top of Fate. Gonna have to rebind here. I think he gets himself out of there.
He took the laning phase personally.
Yeah.
But,
and now he has a 2-level advantage. Look at this.
Careful who you bully in the laning phase. They might come back to get you later.
They just managed to take down.
It's still accurate at the moment.
Yeah, right?
But like, Bro's next matchup's DRX, right? You mentioned their future and their ability to bounce back were super narrow, and while they kept the early game relatively close, a few mistakes and a few good proactive plays by B&K, they get map control and it all falls apart.
I think it's also a difficult matchup just stylistically for Bro, because Bro are really good at like early game macro decisions, and B&K are really good at not caring about that and just team fighting way better than you.
Yeah.
And that's where Bro really struggles, finding the coordination in these team fights, finding the decisiveness. And B&K's problem is they have too much decisiveness. We're going to see some of it right here as into the backline goes Closer, tries to find his opportunity, but it's Clear that just slices them up. No opportunity to do anything at all for Envy. And now Morgan is just right in the middle of the furnace. It's ironic because he's Rumble, but he's still going to get chopped down. Fate also in trouble. as Duro is just going to find him. Yeah, there's an explosive charge on top of the Rakan, but he's going to be fine. And that is yet another one-team fight for BNK. This is going to be the last one of the game because the series is now over.
The series is definitely done. That's going to be the end point here, as it is just a complete and utter domination here by BNK. The win streak is real. This team is back, and they are looking to move to the west side. Make it a more permanent location for them, as what a bounce back.
These are the best highlights from today's 2024 LCK Summer Split matchup.
I don't think Ono knows that Award went into that brush there either, as we're going to just do the same thing. It's a bit of a do-si-do.
But the winner of this is Zeus, who's pulling the Renekton, pushing the wave in, is okay, here we go.
Yeah, Pyosik fighting against Ona here, who does manage to steal this one away. There's a lightning rush over. The stun comes out immediately, though, from Perfect, and Pyosik going to get smashed into the ground. The flash out from Ona as well, as now Zeus is in an extraordinarily uncomfortable position. Seismic Shove is going to miss, and oh my goodness, is it going to work? The turret! Oh, he was almost out of there.
Almost out of there, but it is going to be a 1-for-1 in the end. Zoned off. You've got to make this work, Pyosik. 3-6 is going to be tough.
Yep, Slicing Maelstrom is going to be used on the minion wave, and now Perfect just trying to get towards it. Wants to get the mana wants to get the experience. As Ona was tanking this one up, we've got dives everywhere, though, as Beryl goes in and straight up whiffs. That's going to be the crash down from Carrier to try and buy some space, and Gumayushi should be falling here somehow. It almost worked. But it is going to be the 1-for-2, and T1 just kind of winning everywhere.
Yeah, this is a disaster for KT Rolster. Pyosik felt so hard forced when he saw Owner topside there to make this dive happen. It's just so difficult to do. The crash down from Carrier was so well played. And if you're trying to, as the bottom lane, and we'll talk about that in a moment. So even with Pyosik ulting him, he can just then turn on the stuns and say no.
Right now, there's a Magnet Storm and a Bullet Time, and Feather Storm does need to be used. In comes Ona, though, as that's Beryl almost surviving. Deft also being able to get a fair bit of damage back, as now BDD throws down the wall. Carrier going to knock him off. That's going to be so much damage onto this Talia, and Seismic Shove is going to miss. BDD has to flash to get out after being the one theoretically engaging.
It's the easiest combo in the book. Meanwhile,
yep, Seismic Shove is going to be utilized here. The Renekton Talia combination, some Shuriman friends are going to be able to take down the little Pikachu guy, as T1 now looking to try and answer, but Beryl pretty slippery.
He is going to commit the teleport. This will be seen by the wave, and Perfect still has his, but they're not going to be able to contest the dragon. He will not be teleporting to the opposite side of the map here post 10 minutes. Just head back to the top lane instead.
Well, Pyosik really wants to kill Gumayushi, and he is just going to press the button and go for it. The quickness is down as well. Gumayushi is extraordinarily dead. That kill is going to go over to Deft at the same time, and so KT, we mentioned making some ground. This is going to be building upon.
What can do?
Yep, no response, as we have more grubs going over to T1. It's going to be Ona securing, I believe, all 6 of them. Pyosik not interested in fighting for these. I don't even remember where Ona managed to take the last ones, but I think it must have been when some of the shenanigans was going on. So that is going to be T1 with a big advantage as far as getting this push happening around the map, and they already have so much lane control.
Composition for T1 because, okay, we'll see something before that.
Yeah, Perfect is just going to pre-dominance and try and keep himself alive, and it ain't going to work at all. Zeus presses his R button and just zaps him down. Just fell down.
Almost got all.
Not going to be able to get those.
Yeah, should still be able to get the turret here before Deft does.
Yeah.
And that is going to be first turret going over to the Kennen, who was able to get a ton of plate gold, 375 plus the kills. He is just so large on that Thunderbolt Pikachu, the namesake of this player, why he always does the Z for Zeus, but also for Kennen in the Thunderbolt, shape that he makes the Z in. You guys know what I'm talking about. I need to explain the Zeus Z, but I'm like trying to.
Yeah. I think maybe he's just too strong, As Beryl's moving on over, just being a little bit frustrating here, as this Cloud Drake is going to be secured. It's an ocean.
When you go... Okay, Owner should be fine.
Yeah, he'll be all right.
When you go for the Crypt Bloom second and you are winning this game this hard, the item just feels so snowbally.
We haven't seen any sort of 5v5, any sort of setup I really am intrigued as to whether or not, KT can make it work, as I've seen this on the top side of the map. It's going to happen once again as there's the flash forward from Perfect. He avoids the Emperor's Divide, and then Pyoshik just goes through it. Vault Breaker comes down, but it's not going to be enough. Carrier is going to pay for his sins, but he flashes out of the way. Bullet time to celebrate.
Get a ton of value in terms of damage, but it helped make sure that KT couldn't follow up further, and they're going to get a turret for this as well, it looks like.
Yeah, all 5 of them are over here. Seismic Shove goes wide. Perfect soaking as much of this as possible, but this is a foregone conclusion. Turret is going to go down, and T1 just slink away into the fog of war.
Season, and just putting that early pressure in the top lane to great use, and then just having so much pressure that you can take those risks, that you can kind of play a little bit fast and loose and still get away with it. Does feel very T1, the T1 that ended up being our finalists so many times in a row. Frontlining.
Yeah, and Zeus on a flank angle as well, looking to try and catch this Renekton, making his way forward. He's spotted on that control ward, and there we go. Perfect still going to get tagged with the Shuriken, and Faker comes down. Renekton is very much going to die. It's just whether or not KT can find anything as a result of it, and the answer is going to be maybe mid lane out of turret, and I think, okay, never mind.
Chip away at this and get some control of the river back. Perfect has TP in 10 seconds.
Oh,
too late.
This dragon is still up and available. Faker is going to go golden, but there's the quickness. The bullet time is gigantic, though, and even Faker's sweep is going to work beautifully. Now Def, yes, he pressed the Feather Storm, but he comes down into hell once again, and T1 are going to wipe the map of KT, and Perfect, he just respawned. He's like, where did my friends go?
Bought that Seeker's Arm Guard. He had the extra eco with some of that extra plate gold to pick that up. Didn't finish his Leandri's. Isn't that as interested in that, because he just knows that if he has enough money to buy the stopwatch, he will be safe in almost any scenario, and he is when the engage comes through.
Soul Point also, I feel like we're watching the last series. This is kind of like the advantages that B&K were getting, where they were the ones picking up all of the neutral objectives, but also winning the fights, winning the map, taking the turrets. And this is the T1 that we grew to expect, that we haven't seen for the last couple of weeks. They are going to be able to break open the base here on the bottom side of the map. And I think that I don't see really a way back for KT unless there is some sort of miracle.
Yeah, I think BDD was maybe hoping for a crazy flank there, but no one's vulnerable.
Well, it's trying to throw some rocks on the ground and things like that. T1 not looking too worried about it. Inner turret in the mid lane will be just sort of looked at momentarily, and that does go down. There is still an inner on the top side. Minion wave in an awkward spot for T1.
Strong Renekton to do so. He'll just get turned on. He doesn't have TP right now, and T1 just slowly grinding them out of the game.
Yeah, Seismic Shove is going to connect, and did we notice? Not really. That is a Keeper's Verdict, just to be channeled here by Owner for fun. Storm, and there's a bullet time, and what does KT actually do to stop from melting? And the other especially when there's an Ocean Soul on top of it.
Yeah, the other thing too is that KT's comp requires you to be ahead.
To go in and try and fight this immediately, but Perfect was back home. There was no way for them to do anything about it.
So I said it was going to take a miracle to maybe steal this Baron, take that one away, win the team fight here. I think it's going to take an incredible miracle.
Do whatever he wants. It is getting a little bit difficult here, as you can see. Def finally taking a bit of damage. That is a Seismic Shove. They get a stun onto Carrier, who crashes out of there. Still, it's 50% health almost of a Rel. That's what they get for managing to find the angle. BDD, if he gets another one of these shoves, though, it could be an important moment here as quickness from Beryl. He looks for the angle. Owner just says no and presses W.
That was a little tricky way for him to try to do it, but Owner just is like, nah.
Yeah, the R for W trade is a rough one.
30 seconds after, or for 30 seconds before this Baron expires, the Elder will spawn. So T1, again, don't even have to get permanent damage done here. They would like to get an inhibitor and then just be able to kite back easily, but so far, pretty heroic defense from KT.
Yep, and now we've got Faker having to use that Zhonya's once again. Owner taking a lot of damages. There's the bullet time. That's going to get the doubles, and Zeus just cleans up the back line. Seismic Shove does nothing. Emperor's Divide does everything, and T1 will cleanly ace KT. They were very patient with that play, but this is going to be the last one of the game. Surgical from T1 here in game number 1, and some well-needed revenge for them in the Telecom War. Owner was absolutely incredible, and I ate my words on that one. However, it's just always fun watching Owner play this champion.
I think that the Ziggs, the ban here is really smart, but
quite going to be a thing that they can contest. as Pyushik is going to come in and at least supervise. And yep, just presses a button, and Ona is going to ignore it.
He made his feet cold, and then he kept killing the grubs.
Well, Ona is going to look for him. Root Caller does come down, and there is the Weaver's Wall. Flash out from Pyushik, but Faker follows him immediately. Now BDD is going to turn up, and there's the culling. Ona still level 5, so doesn't have the kick, and meanwhile Zeus and Perfect are fighting. The flash out, but the flash in. First blood for BDD, and Perfect follows up immediately. That's 3 kills, and is it going to be 3 games?
I mean, it's looking more likely after this moment. Don't count T1's chances out just yet, but I mean, it looked really silly for the first part of this as Guma is hanging around looking for a potential steal.
Oh, that would be a pretty unfortunate steal, as that was a pretty early smite, I believe. And Gumayushi is going to turn up, and Daisy is also going to come in. Perfect. Getting that shove through. Zeus is still wandering towards the lane. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Keria is just doing his very best, but there is a Demolish proc, and so man, these high notes are really hurting.
Yeah, KT is really winning everywhere. I mean, getting the advantage here bottom side as well. Some extra plate gold for the Seraphine. You can see the gold graph showing.
Yeah, Encore is going to come on through here as Ona turns up. Keria almost dies, actually, before it even happens. As Beryl, he's under the turret, and he's going to die. That means the Deft is also really dead, but at least they get one.
Well,
there's that. Shenanigans.
It went over to the Leona, though. It's like 17.
Yeah, and we need the percentage as well. Oh, as Faker is just dead. Yeah, there's the flash forward, gets the double tap, and BDD, he's on a killing spree. He is too big right now.
Yes,
yeah.
You called him out of the game.
All right, Daisy's coming out, but Ona's coming in. And Perfect going to find the stun. They're still going to go for this one. There's the knockup. Thanks, Daisy. And out goes Ona. Let's see whether he can keep himself alive, though, because Daisy's still in amongst it. The Root Caller helping the Renekton get in. Another Zenith Blade. Where's the turret range? Where's Gumayushi's health bar? My goodness, the damage to come out from... That's just a lost chapter. What the heck? As they were the girls from our picture-in-picture before, as another Encore going to come in, as Keria is going to get solar flared as well. There's a Zenith Blade from Keria one more time. Sorry, from Beryl one more time, as Faker is once again fighting BDD. This time the shove into the rocks is going to come on through. More friends over here to try and help out the mid lane. There's the Weaver's Wall as BDD. He's got the Trigger Seed shield. He just turns around and kills Faker. There's the kick flash as Pyushik is going to flash to get back out once again as Ona. One more turret shot and he's going to die, but that's not going to come on through. And now Deft is going to need to turn up. There is going to be the kill onto Zeus. And now Perfect comes in at the same time. Gumayushi, oh dear. Let's see whether he can get himself out of this one. Perfect is going to have a slice and or dice coming up relatively soon. His flash is also only a couple of seconds away. The flash comes through from Gumayushi, though. That is going to send them out of there. Poor. Yeah.
He got there in the end, but
poor Bristle.
Owner is in trouble.
Oh, this is live. Okay, yeah, Daisy's going to get another knockup as Perfect comes on in. That is going to be the kickback, and that should be enough to disengage. But he has to get the heck out of here. That is going to be a Hextech Drake to be taken here by KT. First Dragon in 12.5 minutes.
Does have teleport. See if he wants to commit to trying to defend some plates here. Topside is taking the grubs here also by T1. Very greedy. It's going to take Ivern a million years to get that dragon, but...
Yeah, very true. All right, Perfect is just flashing forward. This guy is angry. And now Gumayushi completely out of mana, but did manage to throw down the Dawning Shadow at least. And should be able to walk this one off. So
greedy what T1 did there, and they get punished again.
Biding his time, but for what is the question, as T1 they are going to be able to take this turret on the bottom side of the map, and that is first turret blood, I believe. Yeah, it is. So bit of an extra inroad of money.
Definitely a huge win for the somewhat starved fasting Senna here.
A little bit unfortunate that KT weren't able to actually patch that one up, because Rift Herald, I don't know whether it's worth it.
I think if they can get the mid turret with the Rift Herald, it will definitely feel very valuable.
Rewarded for BDD's defensive play. This now maybe immediately punished. Let's just see how this one's going to go as the teleport in. BDD looking for Gumayushi, has to flash. Double TPs means that now T1 find themselves a little bit late to their own party. And it's going to be the outer turret taken. KT now grouped up, ready to go for this dragon as well.
Yeah. This is going to be a TP top for Zeus. They're going to try to push mid at the same time.
There's the flash forward as Faker's going to get interrupted. No writing on the wall for you, sir. And the solar flare is going to find the sweet spot. That is an interruption, but BDD is just going to zap him down. And Faker finds himself 0 and 4, unfortunately. And KT, they're going to put Perfect in the bottom lane. He's going to take down that inner turret.
Trying to do so much here. They're not... Okay. It should still be the turret.
Yeah, you can keep talking
so
about
anyway,
the other thing.
I feel like the KT are just not going to fall prey to T1 being like, I get something cross map. They're just not going to let them have anything. BDD?
Yeah, he's going to be in a whole host of trouble. The Dawning Shadow is even going to help out, and the turret loses interest in stopping T1 here. So KT will be able to answer with a dragon.
They finally got him.
Yeah. Infernal Soul as well this game. That's an exciting one.
They've been able to match them at every turn.
Yeah, I like that they are still staying very proactive, right? Still getting around this map, trying to take down objective after objective, find these opportunities. The more they can group up and utilize the Ivern and the shields, the more value they're going to get. As, okay, Beryl could find himself in a rough spot, but he's going in! There's a turret! He has a Zenith Blade, and he's getting under there, and he's surviving, for goodness sake! That was way too long to be alive, as now Deft will finally turn up. Speeds himself through here. Perfect is now going to find his entranceway, but KT have already lost one. Seismic Shove is going to knock back the Renekton, and he could be the next little pickup here as they take down the turret. Perfect is going to be alive. He is much less squishy than he was in game number 1. Has another Seismic Shove. This time, he is definitely dead. The Encore! And Deft is able to help take down Ona. Gumayusi follows immediately as Deft... I mean, the Seraphine is doing ridiculous work. He does die. T1 win the fight. But you can see Ona looking for an opportunity. I don't think he's going to be able to steal away this Drake. That is going to be the sole point picked up by KT. Now, the Weaver's Wall comes in. Glacial Prison is used. And KT are going to take the Drake and then look for a flash play onto Ona. That is a miss, though, unfortunately. There is now Perfect looks for the pickup, and Senna is just dead. Seismic Shove used defensively, that is decent peel, but now the culling comes in. The Redemption layered on top. The teleport flank angle, and there is the Encore. Zay is going to be taken out. Deft is answered though. Carrier going down very low, and KT, they still have their 80 carry because it's BDD.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of like accidental funnolution, okay?
Yeah.
All the gold.
Oh my goodness,
and then
it finally worked.
He's got double shields. And the AP ratio on that is pretty good. And you have the Ivern as well, so it's just kind of crazy what this Lucian is able to do as well.
The entirety of this series. Now, able to get on in here. That Seismic Shove not really going to find too much there, as Faker's just going to have to back off to the next line of defense.
This game, it's kind of insane.
Yeah. And he just understands that he is the one that has the target on his back. And he's going to play around it as best he can. Q going to connect there onto Pyosik. He's just going to back off. Yeah, looking for this one. Deft realizing that that wall is in a rough position. Let's see whether they can keep themselves alive. Is Perfect? You are just dead, my friend. The rest of your team were not there.
That was a disaster.
Yeah.
Rushes. Use your setup.
Ona. Now just going to be chased out by Beryl. There's a Weaver's Wall as Beryl's getting amongst it, going to stun him up here as the high note is so good. Solar Flare going to connect onto Ona as well. Remember, he does have a GA, so he can keep himself alive for a lot longer.
What if you were a champion with CC, shields, a little bit of healing, and also a bunch of damage?
Yeah.
Would you be Seraphine? I think you would be in this game.
Huh, yeah.
It's actually crazy. All right, now they're going to start the Baron. T1 all around them.
Yeah, there's a Seismic Shove, going to connect onto Perfect. Down to 50%, the Shock Blast is not going to land as Ona. Can he be the hero? He gets it, he steals it! And he is going to go down to the GA. Can they get themselves out alive, though? That's the question. Even Ona is able to survive, but Gumayusi's dead. The Jace is dead as well. There is not a lot of damage left in this composition. And the kick out onto Pyosik there. Deft is probably going to have the damage if he can actually land a few of these buttons. The smite comes in, and there it goes. Surround sound means that he's just never going to be able to touch the Seraphine, and even though the Baron was picked up here by T1, it's likely that KT can still do some big damage to this base.
I mean, Zeus, he did kill a lot of shields in that fight, but otherwise not able to do a whole lot. Faker alone to defend is going to be so difficult. Guma not really an 80 carry here. They have Baron buff minions.
Oh, another Solar Flare. That really nailed the minion as Faker's going to go golden. Seismic Shove connected in the meantime. That looked pretty good, but Faker is still dead. And Daisy, she's just wandering around. Carrier going the wrong direction, throws an ulti to Narnia, and he will be taken down. It's BDD collecting his 8th of the game. as Gumayusi slinks into the mist, but he might want to stay there as this game is over. KT roaring back into the series. It would not be a Telecom War without 3 games. And I'm so glad that KT were able to turn it around and give us 3 in this one.
He could use the singularity to see in the bushes. I guess that's
true.
Yeah,
there we go.
That's kind of a positive. There's not really much counterplay to that from KT Rolster, but carry down because there's that power trough as BDD.
Whoa, he's just flashing in, looking for Faker here. Can he find the autos? And there's the last one. Picks it up, doesn't die to the turret.
Advantage over Faker to Guma's over Deft. You won't be happy if you're a KT fan.
No. It's 18 to 50. It's kind of absurd. Owner going to move in, look for the spear onto BDD. Is Pyosik going to need to shield him? BDD just able to get the kill. Still, it's answered this time as the jungle is now facing off Pyosik without too much firepower. And Deft continuing to get zoned. So yeah, I mean, BDD did have that kill. There's a hook onto Carrier there at the same time as Beryl just desperately trying to do anything that he can. But he is now the one burning down. Deft trying to get anything done as that's a last auto. And that is a dead Beryl in the 2v2. And T1 just demonstrating that this bottom lane, they still got it.
I mean, Beryl tried his best to try to get any sort of space here for Deft, but is unfortunately for him unsuccessful. Good spacing there from Guma on the follow-up autos. Takes Beryl out. Deft left alone here. At least he's the one who survives. At least maybe he can get some of that critical farm. Now, BDD picked up a second kill here in mid. It's not an assist, but it is big gold for him, so definitely a trade up. The kill goes over to a Nidalee.
He's human after all. And here on the bottom side of the map, yeah, Deft and Beryl continuing to have just a terrible time.
Yeah, and I mean, okay.
Oh, speaking of terrible times, to the skies is Faker. Yeah, hands off keyboard here.
I mean, he is still massively behind, but what T1 have been able to gain from this is a pretty substantial amount of gold for their bottom lane, and they're trying to actually wipe this turret out. Looks like they will be successful on this wave, although the Iron Brush makes this very frustrating. So maybe not quite.
Yeah. Oh, God. All of the poke coming in. One more auto would have done it. There's a trap in the brush. Man, the brushes are actually making it more frustrating for KT, and they're being built by their jungler.
Yeah, this is really annoying to deal with, but they are keeping this turret alive for now.
I don't know whether this turret is really worth trying to save because there are 3 members of T1 down here. And the extender beam not really going to help out there as, okay, Root Caller does come on through. Gumayusi is going to get the heal though from the Primal Surge. And they try to do their best to take down the cannon, but that is not going to work.
So how well Caitlyn can utilize this gold is going to be the real question because 40 CS down.
Beryl is just unfazed.
No, he doesn't care.
Not even a little bit. BDD going to turn up. Owner is able to secure that one grub. And so that is 2 apiece here. KT looking to try and lock down their third. And, oh, I thought that spear was actually going to be able to pick that one up. But good smite there from Pyosik.
You can see T1 just aren't confident to fight this right now. They don't have any vision.
Oh, okay. Light Binding does come on in. Peacemaker down as well as he's just dead. The final spark is going to be exactly that, and Beryl, this is the power of the poke composition.
His life has the heal and will be okay, but you can see the potential of what could have gone wrong there. Good flash from BDD. And we're starting part 2, this time on the Herald, but this time T1 a lot more control than they had the last.
Yep, Ace Hole going to come on through as there is the depth charge onto the Nidalee. He's burning, but so's Beryl, and there's Faker picking up his first kill. T1 now with a big advantage, but not necessarily in the health bars. Still, the Rift Herald should be secured here. And T1 just making this win lane, win game composition work for them.
And the final spark was massive there as well, ripping through those health bars, making it so that there was no way KT could try to follow up and punish those low health bar champions on the side of T1. And that's the Herald going over. And T1's lead is just becoming so big at this point. Sure, it was a big ultimate from Deft, and yes, he has high damage output.
Yeah, Shirelli is coming in relatively soon as there's some redemption damage, and the flash forward from Beryl. Gumayusi, he does not have his flash available. Root Caller comes down. There's the hook. BDD's like, give me my 4th, and he'll be able to pick that one up. Deft, the mid lane, some plants go up, and so does Daisy and Beryl. He's on the prowl once again. Gumayusi gonna be in trouble here as Perfect is just going to put him into the death realm. What are you going to do about it? And the answer is die. And then a whole bunch of stats now go over to this Mordekaiser. Hooks connecting, but the final spark is just going to end them. The all-out comes through from Zeus, and now the flash forward Deft smells blood in the water and wants to get some sort of kill here as Zeus getting himself out. BDD presses W, but I don't know whether they're going to be able to quite find it as finally the kill comes in. The answer's there from KT. The kills are even. It's a bloodbath, but I don't even necessarily know who's in the best position to win.
I mean, when you look at how these fights have been going, it's like Keria is doing the most damage.
Yeah.
Guma's doing a little bit, right? And this time just ulted out. You mentioned, hey, if you have the man advantage, you win these, and it's Riftmaker on the Mordekaiser. I don't know if we should watch the whole thing, but anyway, they end up killing Zeus here as well. In the meantime, the mid turret goes down, and that is a big tool gone for KT.
Game goes on.
Look at this gold here in turrets. 3,000 nearly for T1, all in that turret.
So not necessarily fully out of the woods, but certainly feeling better than the way Deft is at this point in time, sitting on, like you mentioned before, just the Zeal. All right, going to not necessarily find the target as Keria just explodes. Beryl's going to be traded, but now BDD, he's on the prowl. The all-out angle is going to be there for Zeus, and he drags the Jace into the team. Gorgeously played from the man in the top lane, and that is going to give T1 the edge. Right, like, KT have so much engage, so many of these angles to set up to try and answer, that it can be quite difficult as they are doing the dragon. It's very easy to do dragon when there's actually no one around.
Infernal again.
And that's a high value one. So 2 Drakes going over to T1 as Final Spark going to be thrown towards Perfect.
The tricky part, you know, they had the Zeus Cassante engage on him last time around, but how do you close the gap on this Jace? Maybe you just simply weather the storm and have the Caitlyn do the work, you front to back it.
Yeah.
Because trying to set up an engage or a pick is so challenging.
Oh, Keria going to be able to find a bit of a combo. There's the spear to land as well. Beryl is just dead. They find the pick, they set up the vision, and they're going to look for a Baron off the back end of it.
Area has been so essential in finding these bindings to actually punish this aggressive positioning from Beryl.
Well, there is going to be vision going into this Baron pit. Yoshik does have his flash available. Can he be the hero is the question. The answer is no. Zeus just said, get out of here. The Baron's going to be secured. Daisy's going to be taken down first. Yoshik is destroyed. And T1 just snowball the fight so beautifully. Yes, Perfect is able to kill a Lux, but I think Keria did his job this game. Faker going to be able to lock down that kill. It's now 12-8.
Beryl, they get a Baron. KT absolutely get dunked on in the fight, and then Baron is up, and it's already 3,000 gold. The power play, 4,000 here with this turret going down. There's so much follow-up damage from Guma. It looks like Zeus is actually two-shotting him, but it's Guma over the wall just popping him. And yes, Perfect does get the flank and takes Keria out, but his sacrifice was legendary, and it's probably what's going to win T1 this Telecom War.
Yep. Hook is going to miss here as T1 are just going to bear down on this inhibitor. Zeus says thanks for the gap closed as Perfect's going to pull him in. That is Beryl dead for the 7th time this game. And KT just looking like there is absolutely nothing that they can do. We praised them for the draft, but things went so wrong in the early game. There was no way for them to utilize it in any way, shape, or form. Nexus turret's going down. T1 going to get some revenge against KT. They're going to move to 4th place in the LCK, and they're going to send KT to 7th. With a victory here. Deft is trying to kite his way out of this one, but he's not going to be able to. He wanted to kite his way out of the early game. This is the way that he gets out of it, and it's via defeat at the hands of T1.
These were some of the best highlights from today's 2024 LCK Summer Split matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.